Okay, so in this short video, we're going to talk about how do our cells, or why do our cells, all have the exact same DNA, and yet they're all unique and special. And so we call this process cell specialization. Like, how do our cells become specialized? So when we look at our pancreas cells, nerve cells, liver cells, muscle cells, etc., all of the cells in our body have the exact same DNA, yet they each have different functions. So let's go ahead and talk about how this is possible, or why this is possible. So all of our cells in humans, we have 46 chromosomes. So here are 46 uncondensed chromosomes. So if we were to condense them, this is what it would look like. So where did we get our 46 chromosomes though, right? And why do all of our cells have the exact same DNA? Well, that comes down to fertilization and when we were first formed. So we have gametes, a sperm and egg, and we find 23 chromosomes in a sperm and 23 chromosomes in an egg. Well, when the sperm fertilizes the egg, we now have 2 of every kind of chromosome, and now we have our 46. So this fertilized egg is called a zygote. Now, the zygote is really like the first cell that was us. And so when we take our sperm and we join it with our egg, and now we have a zygote, this is us from the very beginning, and it's through the process of mitosis that we now today are trillions of cells. So when we talk about mitosis, mitosis makes identical daughter cells. So where we started from 1 cell, that cell divides and becomes 2, and then those 2 become 4, and then mitosis happens and now there's 8, etc. So here's a quick little GIF for you showing our cells dividing. Now, if we only did mitosis, though, we would end up as a ball of identical cells, right? If we didn't specialize, it would just be completing mitosis and having identical daughter cells. And what we see is we are actually a human with 200 different kinds of cells. So in those early stages of 1 cell, then 2, then 4, then 8, those cells are stem cells. And they all have the exact same DNA because mitosis makes identical daughter cells. So how do these stem cells begin to differentiate and become unique cells with specialized functions? Well, the key actually is, while each of our cells has the exact same DNA, the exact same genome, red blood cells actually will take out their nucleus, so that way they have more room to carry oxygen. But how this is all possible, how they become specialized, is really going to come down to which genes in our DNA are expressed, which means which parts of our DNA are read in each of the cell types. So while all of our genes, all of our DNA is found in every single nucleus in our body, it's not all used, basically. You can think of our genes as being turned on or turned off, like a light switch. Oh, they're flipped on here or they're flipped off. So genes code for proteins. And so really it comes down to which proteins are being produced in each of these different cell types. So the proteins you find in a muscle cell are very different than the proteins you find in a nervous cell, or like a neuron. And so it really comes down to which genes are turned on making proteins, and then those proteins are what help the cells specialize. So for me, I use this as my introduction to my unit on protein synthesis. Now my class will move into, well, how do we make those proteins? So that's what I teach next. But if you are in the AP Bio class, for example, this comes down to transcription factors and which genes are going to be expressed and activated in eukaryotic cells, or which ones are turned off. All right, great job.